Hey, how are you? This is Dr. AJ Shirey answering all kinds of questions here for YouTube. Do I want to stream in portrait or landscape? And I really just want to get this content out there to you. So the title of my video is How to Be Successful as a College Student. And I was a college student for 13 years. During that time, I went from being just regular college, traditional age. I was married for a while going to school, and then I became a single parent for 4 years. Finished my doctoral degree during that time, and so I know what it's like to work more than a 40-hour-a-week job. I worked over 50 hours a week as an assistant principal at a junior high. I ran a non-traditional teacher licensure program, and I had a little boy, and I finished my doctoral program and wrote a dissertation. So I do know what it's like to have a difficult schedule and still get through college. And the main point of this is, or one of the points is, you can, if you can get through the first 2 years of college, even with an average intelligence, if you'll just be a good student and do what you need to do, you can be successful and go all the way up and get a doctoral degree. So first 2 years are the hardest. You're having to take classes in content areas you probably don't love. I don't know anybody that loves every single content area that's out there. I know a lot of people struggle with college algebra. That's common. You really need to do your homework before signing up for a college algebra teacher and get a good one, one that has good reviews on Rate My Professor. But anyways, like I said, my name's Dr. AJ Shirey. You can also find me as AJ Shirey on Facebook. Feel free to follow me there. I do all kinds of videos on entrepreneurship, business, life in general, things like that. So anyways, my first tip, I have 12 tips. The first one is go to class. Very simple. I will say attendance has gotten worse over my career teaching college, and I started teaching college in 2001, so a long time ago. But you need to go to class. Like, that is the most important thing in your week if you are trying to get a college degree. So you need to go to class. And also, like, now colleges have to take attendance and report it, so it can affect your financial aid if you get bumped out of a class, like cut from a class for not participating. Number two, this is the tip that I give that is the most controversial. And that is, you really need to be friends with people that are going to college or have graduated college. And that's because people who have no desire to get a college degree and they're just like working a job, they're gonna have a different lifestyle and how they spend their free time. And they might, I have seen this happen where friends that aren't going to school, that aren't college minded, really try to like poke fun of and influence the person going to college to like not study, go out with us anyway, you can always study later, don't worry about it, you can pull an all-nighter, and like that is horrible advice. But people that have gone to college know what it takes, they know that that's important, and they're gonna help encourage you to have good study habits, to not go out, but to stay home and do your work instead if that's what you need to do. So I would say you really need to surround yourself with like-minded people that are on the same like trajectory that you are, people that are trying to better themselves or in some kind of program to go through school or a trade program, like something where they're having to study also, or people that have already graduated college, because they are certainly going to be an encouragement to you to keep going and do what it takes. And no, I don't want to keep you from studying and ask you out instead. Like, they're going to respect that. Okay, the third one, take notes. Like, sit in a seat in the class where you are not distracted. Different people, some have ADD or other things, or people sit in front of you tapping or scrolling on their phone might be a distraction to you. And if that's the case, then sit further in the front. Like, find a seat in the room that you like, get there before the class starts, and get in a seat where you can learn. And I want to encourage you, number 3, to take notes. And well, that's part of this. Take notes and sit where there are no distractions. Number 4, when you get home at some point before the class meets again, recopy your notes, and you're going to remember better if you actually get like a pen and paper and like write your notes down. Our brains remember better when we write things more so than when we type them on a digital device. And then you need to pay attention in class. Like, I actually caught a girl once like watching a TV program like while I was teaching. That's disrespectful. You're not learning if you're trying to watch TV while you're in a college class. Let's see, number 5. I would say on the first day of class, be friendly, be outgoing, and even if you're not, you need to do this. Find at least 2 people in the class to exchange phone numbers with, and you guys kind of form your own little support system, support group, and it can be 3 or 4 people. but I really encourage you to exchange phone numbers, emails, so that if you have to be absent, you can phone a friend, you can contact them, text them, and get the notes and see what you missed. That's better to do that than to ask the professor, like, oh, I missed class, like, what did I miss? Like, did we do anything? Like, of course we did something. Like, I didn't just come in and bring donuts today and we sat around and, you know, watched a movie. Yes, you missed something. Every class is important. So exchange phone numbers. And then number 6, before asking your professor a question about something in an assignment, ask your friends that you've exchanged information with, because I would say at least half of the questions that I get, I've already provided the information in the syllabus. So it's in the syllabus, or it's in an announcement in our online platform, which we use Canvas. I know some schools use Blackboard, but whatever your online platform are, the answer may be there, and like, you don't want to look, you know, like you're not reading carefully, foolish. You know, you need to read carefully first, or ask your friends that you've exchanged phone numbers with. And it's good to have a support system. Like, maybe you're confused by something that your professor said, and you at least would have a couple other people you could say, hey, can y'all explain this to me? Like, I'm just not getting it. I don't understand how they're explaining it. And sometimes, like, peers can help teach each other better than the teacher. All right, let's see. Number 7, turn in your work earlier on time. I want you to get in the calendar on your phone and schedule yourself time to work on your assignment that's before the due date. Because when a lot of people are asking for extensions, like they missed a deadline. So now using online, if you have to turn your work in online, which I think more and more professors are using, like I have people turn in everything online, we get to set a deadline. And it might be like midnight on Thursday night. And if you try to turn in your work like 2 minutes late, it will not let you submit it. So you need to have planned to have turned it in early, and don't wait until like the last few hours, because what if you really do have an emergency then? What if you have a kid that does get sick and is throwing up, or you're sick and throwing up, you get the flu? Like, plan for yourself to have the work done early. That way life doesn't trip you up at the last minute. So get your work turned in early and schedule it. If you'll put it in your calendar, you won't find yourself procrastinating until the last minute, because you're gonna have that time blocked off, and you don't let anything interfere with that time. You just go do your work during that time. All right, number 8. The last 3 or 4 weeks of every semester, it gets really crazy. That's when everybody's trying to hurry up and teach extra chapters that they haven't covered because they didn't pace themselves well, like your professors. Most assignments are due, projects are due. There might be a chapter test, and then the next week a final exam. So that's how it is. That's normal in college. The first 3 or 4 weeks are the easiest. The last 3 or 4 weeks are the most stressful. I can just see it in my students' eyes. I feel sorry for them, but it's always been that way. So you need to not plan on having a social life during the last 3 or 4 weeks of school. You're about to get a vacation. You only go to school 16 weeks at a time, less if it's in the summer. So like, don't worry about it. Like, you're going to be better served in your future, your GPA, you know, how much easier your future classes are if you will take that time and just don't plan on going out. If somebody has a big party, don't go. If that means you don't go out of town to see family for a weekend, don't go. Like, respect your future and help yourself, and like, don't schedule anything those last 3 or 4 weeks. Like, nothing big. Like, I wouldn't go out of town. I wouldn't spend a lot of time like staying out really late and partying. Like, go to dinner, go home, do your studying, get your projects done, get the rest that you need in order to finish strong in your semester. There's nothing sadder to me than seeing a student fail who came the whole semester, and then the last 2 or 3 weeks they just crapped out. Like, they didn't get their work done, they procrastinated, and you have to be really wise and stingy with your time in the last few weeks of a college semester. Number 9. You need to get a job. Most of my students work at least part-time, and you need a boss that respects what your goals are, which I'm guessing one of your number 1 goals is going to be to finish your semester, finish your college degree. And so don't let a boss like that have you come into work and cover for somebody whose kid has the flu or they're sick and they didn't show up. That is not your problem. Unless you own that business, it is not your concern to cover the shift of somebody. You can have somebody else can do that. Your priority is going to college. And if your boss doesn't respect that, go find another job. There are a million jobs out there where you can make $10 to $12 an hour as a college student. So make sure you're in a position where the people you work with and your boss, they never ask you to come into work rather than working on your future. That should be their priority for you if they really care about you. All right, let's see what's next. Number 10, this would happen before this semester. Like if you really stink at a certain content area, let me pick on math. Be sure you go to ratemyprofessor.com and then also ask the students in your classes, like before class one day, before the teacher comes in, just kind of say, hey, everybody, I'm looking to register for the next semester and I need to take finite or college algebra. Who should I take and who should I not take? Like, who do you recommend and who have you taken that you had to drop? Like that is some of the most valuable information that you can get from the students on campus. And realize that it's just an opinion, but if you ask enough people, you'll hear the same names coming up over and over of people that you should take and probably people you should avoid, especially if you struggle in that area. All right. Number 11, learn how you think and study best. So you need to learn how you think, how you study, what helps you go from not knowing to knowing in your brain, like what works for you, and then do that. So you really kind of have to be internally reflective over metacognition, thinking about thinking. How do you think and how do you learn best? And then make sure you do that and study in that way for your classes. And number 12, and this one could be controversial too, and at the end of the day, you have to decide what's right for you. But I'm gonna tell you, grandma does not want you sitting with her at the hospital. She wants you going to college and finishing your degree. I've seen people who have said, oh, I have to go, one of my relatives are in the hospital. Well, go visit them every day for 30 minutes, but then carry on with your life, go to school, finish strong. Like no one in the hospital wants you to sit there by their side. Now, if this is your spouse or child, that would be different. But anything else, like go to class. You're probably not in class 12 hours a week total. And then you can go and sit by that person in the hospital and do your homework. Chances are you aren't the only person in that person's extended family. Like when people say, I've got to go see my grandma in the hospital, I'm thinking, well, does grandma have children and just one child? Are there multiple kids? Are there other cousins that can go? Like my class is only 2.5 hours and a week. Like you shouldn't have to miss to go sit with somebody at the hospital unless they are just like on their deathbed. I'm telling you, whoever it is that's in the hospital is gonna want you to go. And like as a professor that's taught for many years, like I promise you, people have given me that excuse and they're not really at the hospital all day long. So that's why I'm telling you, like you need to make a way for you to go to class. Now, if whoever's in the hospital is like out of town, several hours away, things don't look good, that's your call. Like you're gonna have to decide. But if they hang on, like are you gonna stay there 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then like drop out of your whole semester, waste all that money, your scholarship? And so like really think about the decisions you're making and where you're spending your time. Get some advice from people who have graduated college and then follow that advice as far as like whether or not you should be at the hospital 24/7 with a relative. So those are my best tips. What I will tell you is the longer you are in college, you will get better at doing it. It's like, I give an example of like, it's like doing crunches. Like if you started today doing 50 crunches, it might be hard. You might have to stop and take a break, but 6 months from now, you could hurry up and do 50 crunches in a minute or less. So college is the same way. The longer you go, the better you get at it, the faster you are at reading, at writing, at doing a paper, at finding resources. Like you just get better. You're working the muscles in your brain, you memorize faster, and you just get to be a better student where you can do things a lot faster. So I would encourage you, like after you get your bachelor's degree, look into MBAs, look into master degrees, look for a specialist degree after that. If you're in education, look at doctoral programs. If you'll just keep going, like 6 hours a semester, you can probably find online colleges after your 4-year degree, and there's just no reason to quit. Like all it takes is an average IQ and a strong work ethic. Anybody with just average intelligence can get a doctoral degree. Now, not in every field, like probably not in rocket science, but there are a lot of degrees out there that you can get even if you have a very average IQ. Work ethic will take you in showing up, like being in class, not missing class, all of those things, that will help you more in life and to get that college degree more than anything else. I think that's about it. I want to encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions. I run a teacher education program at a community college in Arkansas. If you have any questions about teacher education in Arkansas, that'd be the program I could help you with the most. I also know about other nationwide programs. If you're interested in teacher licensure, I can recommend a program for you. called Teach Now, and I have the website for that if you'd like to know it. So if you have any other questions about education, feel free to reach out, and I hope you're having a great semester. See you later.